Alright guys, so I'm in the process now of making some fried cabbage, fried southern cabbage. And what I have is, well, I have the cabbage, about a head and a half of cabbage, or two small heads of cabbage. It seems like a lot, but it shrinks down to nothing. I have them soaking, they've been soaking for about an hour in salt water. Just a couple of bowls of water with about a half a cup of salt, and let the cabbage soak. And I chopped up two medium small sweet onions, yellow onions, a green bell pepper, a red bell pepper, and 3 cloves of garlic. And I used the baking oil, the bacon grease that was left right there from the cabbage steaks that I made. I saved the bacon grease to cook these vegetables in. That's going to help to flavor the cabbage. And in a separate pan over here, I sauteed some portobello mushrooms. Really nice. And those are done. I took those off the heat. And I'm just getting ready for the vegetables right now to get done. And they're looking really good right now. Starting to caramelize nice. And that's how I like them. None of this is written in stone. You guys can cook these however you want to, but that's just my preference. So, those are all sauteing now on medium heat. They've been sauteing for about 20 minutes. I have mushrooms over here, my bacon, that's ready to go at the end, and the cabbage. So when I get ready to add the cabbage, I'll get back to you. Okay. So the vegetables are just about done right now. You want to be real careful. I sauteed them for about 20 minutes, and then I added 3 cloves of chopped garlic, because if you burn the garlic, burned garlic will ruin any recipe. So if you burn it, just throw it away and start again. Alright? But these are looking nice. They're starting to caramelize real good. I added the mushrooms from the other pan. So those are ready to go, and I'm going to add about a cup of chicken broth, and I'm going to start adding the cabbage. I don't add the cabbage all at once because it's going to look like a lot of cabbage, but it renders down to hardly anything. So you'll see as it goes along. Okay? I'll be back. Okay, so now I have half of the cabbage that I had soaking over here. I had 2 bowls. Soaking in salt water, and I took half of it and put it in the pan, and you can see it looks full right now, like you'd never be able to fit the other half in, but believe me, this is going to render down. It wilts down to almost nothing as it cooks. So we're going to let that cook and let the water that I added and the chicken broth steam off, and as this cabbage renders down, I'll add the rest of it little by little and let that fry up. And basically what you want to do is let all the moisture boil out of the pan until you're left with just the oil, and that's when you're going to really start frying the cabbage. You'll see as we go along, but this is where we're at right now, so I'll be back. Okay, you can see the cabbage is wilting down. It's rendering down really good, and what I'm going to do right now is add some smoked paprika, and that adds a little flavor to it and adds some nice color. I don't measure, so I would say probably about a teaspoon. I'm going to add a little bit now, and then when I put the second half of the cabbage in, I'm going to add a little bit more. And we're going to let this render down some more, and then I'm going to add the rest of the cabbage in. I'm going to stir this paprika in now. Okay, so you can see that the first half of the cabbage that I put in with the cup of chicken broth is starting to render down nice. The cabbage will make its own liquid too, so that's what actually steams it. The end result is going to be all of that moisture is going to burn off, and you're just going to be left with what's left of the bacon grease in the bottom of the pan, and that's what we're going to fry it in. But right now I'm going to add the rest of the cabbage, the other half. Like I say, it looks like a lot, but believe me, it wilts down to nothing. So you want to start with a lot. It's going to look like too much, but it's not. And again, you know, none of this is written in stone. I added a little bit of smoked paprika on it. McCormick makes some good smoked paprika that I like to use. It adds flavor and it adds a nice color to it also. Alright, so there's the rest of the cabbage in there. And we'll get back to you once this starts to wilt down and we get to the actual frying process. Okay, you guys can see it's starting to go down. There's still quite a bit of the moisture at the bottom of the pan. It's boiling off and steaming off the top, and the cabbage is wilting down nice. I just added about, I don't measure, so it's hard for me to say, but I would say I added about a teaspoon of garlic salt and about a teaspoon of black pepper. You know, taste it as you go and season it as, you know, as you like. But I'll get back when it wilts down some more and we're getting ready to really start frying it down. That's what really makes this dish. Okay, you can see it's rendering down really nice. It's just about where you got to keep an eye on it now. The moisture is almost gone, but at this point here, what I do is get about a tablespoon or so of sugar and just sprinkle it on the top. Okay, that's not so much for flavor as it is what will happen is the sugar will caramelize and it'll just give it a much better texture. So we're going to keep letting this cook. Now's when you really got to keep an eye on it because most of the moisture is gone from the bottom of the pan, and this is where we're going to get into the frying process, and right before we add the bacon that we had. So when I get ready to add that and stir it up some more, I'll get back.